Y'all remember when I fought Ilia and he won, and then afterwards he got a pair of overalls and was making fun of me because I run a farm and I run around in overalls, and he thought that was hilarious. Well, I got something for you, bitch. This is called the Wife Beater Special. That's right, I got my wife beater on for Ilia Topuria. That bitch puts his hands on a woman. You know, I grew up without a dad. You know, never seen my dad, never will see my dad. And you know what? I'd rather not see my dad than have my dad there beating on my mom. Let me tell you something, what that'll get you killed around these parts, son. That shit ain't no joke. There ain't nothing funny about it, and I just had to let you know you're a straight up bitch for that.
UFC lightweight champion Ilia Topuria's shocking announcement about stepping away from the octagon, the serious allegations he's facing, and the massive reactions from fellow UFC fighters, including Max Holloway, Ariel Helwani, and Bryce Mitchell. This situation has sent shockwaves through the entire MMA community. Let's break down everything we know. So, here's what happened. On Monday morning, Ilia Topuria posted a lengthy statement on Instagram that finally revealed why he won't be defending his lightweight title on January 24th at UFC 324. And folks, this is heavy. Topuria revealed that over the past several weeks, he made the difficult decision to temporarily step away from defending his title. But this wasn't about an injury or wanting more money. It's much more serious than that. According to Topuria's statement, he's been subjected to what he calls severe and unacceptable pressure, including threats to disseminate false allegations of domestic abuse unless financial demands were met. He claims these allegations are entirely unfounded.
Huge news coming out of the UFC this morning as lightweight champion Ilia Topuria announces on Instagram that he'll be taking a hiatus from defending his title as he deals with legal matters related to his divorce. We kind of saw some of this coming as he did already say he wouldn't be fighting until 2026. With this message, it seems like that absence might be extended. When do you think we'll see Ilia back in the octagon?
The truth is not a matter of opinion, it is a matter of evidence, Topuria wrote. He states that all relevant evidence has been carefully preserved and documented, including audio recordings, written communications, witness statements, and video material.
The truth is not a matter of opinion, it is a matter of evidence.
This evidence has reportedly been submitted to judicial authorities to pursue legal action for attempted extortion, falsification of evidence, misappropriation of funds and personal property, and multiple threats. Topuria emphasized that his initial silence was to protect his children, who he calls the most important part of his life. But he's now stepping forward because, as he put it, silence under these circumstances does not protect the truth. It allows false narratives to take hold.
Silence under these circumstances does not protect the truth. It allows false narratives to take hold.
Now let's talk about how other fighters are responding to this situation. First up, we have Max Holloway, who actually has his own experience with similar legal battles. When asked about Topuria's situation, Max showed genuine empathy and understanding. He revealed something that shocked many fans. He himself went through years of custody battles and legal proceedings that the public never even knew about. "I actually reached out to him," Max said. "If it is what it is, I know how hard it is. I unfortunately had to fight through that for a couple years now. You guys saw my post about me finally going through that. No one even knew I was going through it."
If it's what it said, I actually reached out to him.
That's true. I saw the tweet actually.
Yeah. If it is what it is, I know how hard it is. You know what I mean? I unfortunately had to fight through that for a couple years now. You guys saw my post about me finally going through that. No one even knew I was going through it.
Max continued. They saw the aftermath of years of just court dates and lawyers and talking, and the only person who loses on that is the kids. So at the end of the day, I know how hard it is for a father. Shout out to Topuria trying to figure that out, and I hope he does.
You know what I mean? I unfortunately had to fight through that for a couple years now. You guys saw my post about me finally going through that. No one even knew I was going through it. They saw the aftermath of, years of just court dates and lawyers and talking. And
this is really powerful stuff from Max, showing the brotherhood that exists in this sport even between competitors. He emphasized how difficult it is to keep these matters private, especially when everyone loves drama in today's social media age. Max also kept it real about his own business, mentioning his upcoming BMF title defense against Charles Oliveira on March 7th. Even though he sympathizes with Topuria, Max has his own fights to focus on. MMA journalist Ariel Helwani was one of the first to break down Topuria's statement in detail on his show. And as always, Ariel provided important context and perspective on this developing situation. Ariel read through Topuria's entire statement on air, calling it heavy-duty stuff, and noting that this is the most Topuria has said about his personal situation after weeks of speculation.
So that is heavy-duty stuff. Obviously, we knew that he was going through some personal issues and there's rumors online, and I didn't want to partake in any of those.
Ariel noted that Topuria also spoke to ESPN Deportes over the weekend, where he confirmed there's no exact timeline for his return. Topuria said he's prioritizing the welfare of his family and children, and as soon as everything is resolved, he'll be ready to return to the octagon. Helwani also covered Topuria's comments about the UFC's support. According to Topuria, the UFC has been excellent and understanding from the very first moment, offering their support whenever needed. He praised the special connection he has with the promotion and their willingness to work with him during this difficult time.
The truth is, Ilia says they have been excellent. We have a special connection. I have understanding without having to give a lot of explanation, understanding from them from the very first moment they have extended their hand.
Ariel also discussed the practical implications. There's now an interim lightweight title fight scheduled for UFC 324 on January 24th between Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett. The question everyone's asking is, how long will Topuria be away? And at what point does that interim belt become the actual championship?
Some news regarding Ilia Topuria, because I do think that as of this morning, it's probably the biggest news of the day. So obviously by now, you know that he is not fighting on January 24th. You know that he is taking a bit of a break. You know that there's an interim title on the line at UFC 324. You know all that stuff and more.
Now, not everyone responded with sympathy and support. Former Topuria opponent Bryce Mitchell went in a completely different direction, and his reaction has been extremely controversial. I need to warn you, Mitchell's response was aggressive and included strong language and accusations. Here's what happened. Bryce Mitchell posted a video on Instagram wearing a tank top, what he called a wife-beater shirt, and went off on Topuria with the caption, "Ilia, the wife-beater. I want a rematch, coward." In the video, Mitchell brought up their previous fight and mocked Topuria for making fun of his farming lifestyle and overalls. Then he launched into an attack, saying, "I've got my wife beater on for Ilia Topuria. That bitch puts his hands on a woman."
And your brother's a bitch too. I'll fight him. I'll beat his ass. You got lucky I was sick or I'd have beat your ass. And look, you don't deserve to get to see your kids, son, because you put your hands on their mother. You're a coward. That shit is sickening. But anyways, bro, who am I to judge? I fall short of the glory of God too. Ilia, you need to repent, return to Jesus Christ, and if you repent, you won't rot in hell, bro.
Mitchell got personal, talking about growing up without a father and saying he'd rather not see his dad than have a dad who beats on his mom. He called Topuria and his brother names and challenged them both to fights, claiming he was sick during their first bout. Here's what's crucial to understand. These are allegations and counterclaims. Topuria has not been charged with any crime. He claims the allegations are false and part of an extortion attempt. Mitchell is reacting to rumors and allegations before any legal determination has been made.
But you better really mean it, and you better really repent, and probably stop drinking too. You probably got a drinking problem, man. But return to Jesus Christ, you will be forgiven, and if not, you're gonna rot in hell, bro, because that's where women beaters go. And you know, one more thing for you, Ilia. Wives ain't like belts, okay?
Topuria has stated he won't be making any further public statements out of respect for his children and the ongoing legal proceedings. He's asked that speculation be avoided and that his family's privacy be honored. As for timeline, Topuria told ESPN Deportes he doesn't have an exact date for when everything will be resolved, but he hopes to return as soon as possible. If it stretches beyond next summer, there's a possibility the UFC could promote the interim champion to undisputed status.
Go.
Jake Paul, do me.
Oh no.
Tom.
I wouldn't mind boxing an MMA fighter. Do you know what I mean? I think that'd be.
I think Gaethje would be a good fight, no?
Yeah, I think that'd be good. I like
That'd
it.
be a big fight, that.
Mate, I've got fights.
You walk him out, yeah?
100%. I mean,
I've got
yeah.
fights in the UFC to do first.
Yeah.
I've got them fights to do.
There's a lot of money to be earned. Because look at Mayweather McGregor. Them two had it off.
UFC heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall has just sent shockwaves through both the MMA and boxing communities with a stunning admission that has everyone talking. In a recent video, Aspinall opened the door to a potential boxing match, and you won't believe who he's targeting. The British powerhouse said, and I quote, "I could and I like it," when asked about boxing by former UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou. But there's a catch. Aspinall made it crystal clear. "I've got fights in the UFC to do first."
Do you reckon you would ever go into boxing? Properly? Would you? Is it a route that you'd ever go down?
I'd never be a world champion. I wouldn't try and be a world champion. You need to dedicate your whole life, don't you? To be a
But
world
you
champion?
was good at boxing, though.
I was,
coming
but-
from an MMA background.
Yeah, but I spent my whole life doing MMA now, haven't I? For me to be like 33 and then think that I'm going to win a world title in boxing, it's unrealistic.
I don't know so much, you know, because with your speed is heavyweight. You got to think in boxing.
I reckon I could have a couple of like.
Warm-ups.
No, I reckon I could have a couple of like, not freak show fights, but like big fights, you know what I mean? Against like a big name or something.
All right, let's dive into exactly what went down. Tom Aspinall, who currently holds the UFC heavyweight title, recently hit the gym with none other than British boxer Tommy Fury. During their training session, which was posted to Aspinall's YouTube channel, the conversation took an interesting turn toward boxing.
Oh, God! Hey! Tom, it's not happening, mate, today.
It's not bad.
Tom, you're scaring me, man.
No, come on.
But my leg will be alright, won't it?
Yeah, it's been way back.
No, I mean, like now, it'll be alright.
Get a bit of mate.
Look at this today on a Monday morning. Get Jake Paul on the channel. And do 100 with him.
Come on. Jake Paul wants to come on.
Oh. It's enough. It's enough MMA today. No more. Had enough.
When Fury asked Aspinall if he would ever consider making the switch to the squared circle, the 32-year-old MMA champion didn't hold back. He said, "I don't know. I wouldn't be a world champion. You need to dedicate your life to be a world champion. I spent my whole life doing MMA. I'm nearly 33 now. For me to be 33 and think that I'm going to win a world title in boxing is unrealistic."
I'd never be a world champion. I wouldn't try and be a world champion. You need to dedicate your whole life, don't you? To be a world
you
champion.
was good at boxing, though.
Coming
from an MMA background.
Yeah, but I spent my whole life doing MMA now, haven't I?
Yeah, I suppose,
I'm nearly 33 now. So for me to be like 33 and then think that I'm going to win a world title in boxing, it's unrealistic.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting, folks. Aspinall continued, "I reckon I could have a couple of big fights with a big name. I wouldn't mind boxing an MMA fighter." That's when Tommy Fury threw out the name Francis Ngannou, and Aspinall's response? "That would be good. I like it."
Do you reckon you would ever go into boxing?
I wouldn't mind boxing an MMA fighter. Do you know what I mean? I think that'd be.
I think Gaethje would be a good fight, no?
Yeah, I think that'd be good. I like
That'd
it.
be a big fight, that.
But before you start booking tickets, Aspinall emphasized one crucial point. "I've got fights in the UFC to do first."
Mate, I've got fights.
You walk him out, yeah?
100%. I mean,
I've got
yeah.
fights in the UFC to do first.
This is huge because it shows Aspinall as being realistic about his boxing ambitions while still keeping his options open for massive paydays down the line. Now, you might be wondering, why is Aspinall even talking about boxing right now? Well, let's give you some important context. Tom Aspinall is currently sidelined after a controversial no contest at UFC 321 in Abu Dhabi. During his first undisputed heavyweight title defense against Cyril Gane, disaster struck in the first round. Gane accidentally poked Aspinall in both eyes. And I mean both eyes, folks. The injury was so severe that Aspinall couldn't continue, and the fight was ruled a no contest. But here's the kicker. Aspinall has since been diagnosed with bilateral traumatic Brown syndrome, a rare eye condition that has him out of action for an undetermined amount of time. The champion was absolutely furious after the fight, not just with Gane, but also with the Abu Dhabi crowd that booed the premature ending. Aspinall even accused his French opponent of poking him on purpose, though it was officially ruled accidental. UFC CEO Dana White is reportedly looking to book an immediate rematch between Aspinall and Gane. But with this eye injury, we're looking at potentially months before the British champion can return to the octagon.
Give us your reaction to the eye poke and how it went out.
I mean, I feel the way everybody feels. Great showing, shitty ending, you know?
It would seem obvious that a rematch is right on the cards. Would you like to just rebook these guys as soon as Tom is able to get back in there?
Yeah. Total pain in the ass, but yes.
So with all this downtime and uncertainty, it's no surprise that Aspinall's mind is wandering to other possibilities, including a massive payday in the boxing ring. Let's talk about why Francis Ngannou is the perfect opponent for Tom Aspinall's boxing ambitions. For those who don't know, Francis Ngannou is the blueprint that UFC fighters follow when they want to cash in on boxing. After fighting out his UFC contract, the Predator made the jump to boxing and reportedly earned somewhere in the neighborhood of $30 million from fights against Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, he catches him off guard! Francis Ngannou has just scored a knockdown against the heavyweight champ! Anything can happen!
Let that sink in. $30 million. That's more than most UFC fighters make in their entire careers. Now, Ngannou is currently with the PFL and has one fight left on his contract. He's expected to face PFL heavyweight champion Vadim Nemkov to fulfill that obligation, before potentially moving back to boxing full-time. Both fighters have expressed openness to the idea, with Aspinall saying, "I like it," and previous reports suggesting Ngannou is always looking for lucrative opportunities. This wouldn't be a freak show fight, as Aspinall put it. This would be a legitimate super fight between two of the most feared heavyweights in combat sports. But let's pump the brakes for a second and talk about the reality of this situation. And here's the million-dollar question. Will the UFC try to re-sign Aspinall before his contract expires? Or will they let another heavyweight champion walk away to chase bigger paydays in boxing? It's a familiar story, folks. We've seen it with Francis Ngannou, and we're hearing similar rumblings from champions like Ilia Topuria, who also has designs on leaving MMA for boxing in the near future. The harsh reality is that fighters can make more money in one boxing match than they would after years in the UFC. It's a pay scale problem that the UFC has been criticized for repeatedly, and until they fix it, we're going to keep seeing their biggest stars eyeing the exit. Social media absolutely exploded when news of Aspinall's boxing admission hit the internet. Fans are divided on whether this is an exciting prospect or a frustrating distraction. Some are saying, finally, Aspinall vs. Ngannou in boxing would be insane. Take my money. Others are more skeptical. Can we please just see Aspinall defend his UFC title first? Why is every champion trying to jump to boxing? And of course, there are the boxing purists who aren't impressed. These MMA guys need to stay in their lane. Boxing is a completely different sport. The fight community is buzzing with predictions, fantasy matchups, and debates about whether Aspinall could actually compete in professional boxing. Some point to his successful amateur boxing background, while others note that he's nearly 33 and hasn't dedicated his life to pure boxing like world champions have. From a stylistic standpoint, both fighters possess devastating knockout power. Aspinall might have the speed advantage, but Ngannou has more recent boxing experience at the highest level.
You never know, if he doesn't come back by June, July, then he might have to vacate his belt and I'll become undisputed champ without even fighting.
Everybody has an opinion on Ilia Topuria. It's one of the hottest conversations going around. Good opinions. Ilia Topuria is the best. Ilia Topuria is the best boxer. Ilia Topuria is going to headline the White House card. But they weren't all. You know, here's an argument that I heard, and I'm trying to think on it. And it's normally the thing that would piss me off, but it's the person that made the argument, someone you know, somebody very reasonable and respected, and they just said, look, Ilia should have been stripped. Say Gaethje and Paddy shouldn't be fighting for the vacated title. They should be fighting for the interim title. They should be fighting for the undisputed title. So how do you get to that conclusion? They said,
Dana White and the UFC have reportedly sent a clear warning message to reigning lightweight champion Ilia Topuria. If he doesn't continue defending his title, the UFC may strip him of his belt.
Finalmente, Ilia, porque el público lo que quiere saber, anunciabas no el primer trimestre, ellos pelean en enero. ¿Cuándo te gustaría a ti? ¿Cuándo sientes que es el momento para regresar?
Bueno, pues como he comunicado, estoy atravesando problemas personales. No tengo una fecha exacta de cuándo se va a solucionar todo. Espero que cuanto antes, en cuanto se solucione, yo estaré listo para volver en el octógono. Priorizo en este momento el bienestar de mi familia, de mis hijos, el mío propio. Así que en cuanto solucione todo, ya volveré al octógono y a darle todo el espectáculo que todo el mundo se merece.
¿Harás careo en enero? ¿Estás ahí para el ganador o...?
No lo sé. Estoy en ello. Estamos tomando decisiones en este momento si haré ese viaje o no, pero espero que sí. Espero que sí.
But Topuria's response is nothing short of shocking. Go ahead and strip me, he said. That's right. The undefeated Georgian-Spanish fighter known as El Matador seems completely unfazed by the threat.
Pero cuando vayamos a boxeo y peleemos con Canelo Álvarez, ahí sí que será a lo mejor el destino de Dios lo que Él quiera. Porque es algo que yo nunca lo he hecho a ese nivel, ¿no? Pelear en boxeo, aunque me prepararé al máximo y que llevo mucho cuidado.
And if that wasn't enough, Topuria also confirmed something that will shock many fight fans. He doesn't foresee a long career in MMA and plans to eventually transition fully to boxing. Today, we break down everything from his UFC rise, personal struggles, rivalries, and what the future could hold for this combat sports prodigy.
Exactly what I said. I connected with a couple of punches. He was like shocked and he said, I need to get a takedown. Then I defended the takedown. I control him in the ground. Almost, I get a very dominating position in the ground. I was very, very close to get it. He did a great scramble in the ground. Again, we went to the striking and finally I could knock him out.
Ilia Topuria has quickly risen to become one of the UFC's most feared fighters. At only 28 years old, he boasts a perfect professional record of 17-0, making him a true force in mixed martial arts. Topuria first made waves in the featherweight division, capturing the UFC Featherweight Championship from Alexander Volkanovski at UFC 298. He successfully defended that belt against Max Holloway at UFC 308. But rather than cementing a legacy in featherweight, Topuria vacated the belt to move up to lightweight, where he immediately made an impact by knocking out former champion Charles Oliveira at UFC 317 to claim the UFC lightweight championship.
I give Ilia Topuria pound for pound.
Yeah. Wow, I never thought I'd hear that come out of that slippery tongue of yours, Kush.
Pause. Yeah. Situation like this similar when Alex Pereira was doing what he was doing. But
this victory established Topuria as a rare two-division champion and placed him second in the UFC pound-for-pound rankings, just behind Islam Makhachev. But as his career reaches new heights, questions now loom over how long he will remain in the octagon. Topuria's recent hiatus is not due to injury or lack of ambition, it's personal. The fighter revealed he is dealing with serious family issues, reportedly a challenging divorce, which has led him to clear his schedule and focus on his children. In a recent statement, Topuria said, "I won't be fighting in the first quarter of next year. I'm going through a difficult moment in my personal life. I want to focus on my children and resolve this situation as soon as possible. I don't want to hold up the division. The UFC will make the matchups needed, and as soon as the matters are resolved, I'll let the UFC know I'm ready to begin my return."
Did he vacate the belt, or did you guys say, if you're moving to lightweight, then we don't want to hold up the featherweight division?
No, he did that. He said, I've done everything I can do here. I'm ready to move up. And he vacated it. He said, I shouldn't be holding up anybody's opportunities. And, you know, it's always, I respect when guys do that.
Despite this, Topuria remains active in the fight world through his role as a co-owner of WOW FC alongside Cristiano Ronaldo. Even while on hiatus, he attended a fight card in Madrid, showing that he is still very much engaged in the sport, even if not competing himself. Topuria praised the UFC for their support during this challenging period. "The truth is that they were excellent with me. They have a special connection with me. From the very first moment, they extended their hand, and I have offered their support anytime I needed it."
Can anybody get under your skin? Does anybody get under your skin? Somebody that knows to say something that triggers. I see your face is saying something though.
I think the only person is my wife. She's the only person.
It's clear that while Topuria is taking time for his family, he remains highly respected by UFC brass and peers alike. Now comes the real controversy. With Topuria taking time off, the UFC reportedly issued a warning that prolonged inactivity could lead to him being stripped of the lightweight title. Fighters like Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett are already in the mix for an interim title at UFC 324. Topuria's response? Bold and unflinching. "Go ahead and strip me. I'm not going to hold my career hostage. I have other plans," he said.
But I wanted to ask about the January card in Paramount, and what do you have anything special planned for that, and when do you start putting that?
We literally today. Matchmaking was today, and we started working on the first Paramount card today.
Okay, I'm not expecting you to say anything, but do you think there's a chance Ilia Topuria could end up on that card? Big star.
It's a possibility.
Cardful video Topuria added that he is focused on finishing his story in MMA before moving on. "It's no secret that I've always wanted to try my hand at boxing, but I think something I've always applied to my life is that if you try to catch two rabbits, you end up catching neither. So I want to finish my story in mixed martial arts, in MMA first, and once I'm done, then make my complete transition to boxing." He made it clear that transitioning to boxing will require a completely different approach. Boxing requires very, very different training. The timing is different. It's not even an octagon, it's a ring. I have to adapt, and that takes time. So right now, in MMA, when I finish, which I don't think will be too long, I'll make my transition to boxing, and I'm going to surprise more than a few people.
If I prepare for 6 months, like only boxing, I don't do anything about wrestling, knees, elbows, grappling, whatever. Only boxing, bro, put me whoever you want in front of me. And I hear a lot of guys talking about like boxers. No, Ilia, he has a good boxing but for MMA, but he has nothing to do with me in the boxing ring. I'm like, listen, you don't have anything to do with me outside, inside, whatever you want. Even if you want to play a chess match, I beat you. I know how good I am in boxing. I train every day boxing, every day. That's part of my life.
This statement sets the stage for a major shift in combat sports, as Topuria balances his current MMA dominance with long-term boxing ambitions. Topuria also has a long-standing rivalry with Paddy the Baddy Pimblett, dating back to UFC London Fight Week in 2022. While the two have exchanged insults and confrontations, Topuria emphasized professionalism. "I always said he looked like someone who's super entertaining. Deep down, I notice he is a person that understands family problems and respects them. One thing has nothing to do with the other, my personal problems and my personal life."
Ilia Topuria siempre ha dicho que te tiene muchísimo respeto, que sería un sueño llegar a pelear contra ti si algún día se pasa al boxeo. ¿Cómo ves a Ilia como boxeador y te gustaría que algún día llegase a darse esa pelea?
Ilia Topuria has said he respects you a lot, and he would love to fight you if he ever came into boxing. How do you see him as a boxer? What would you think of a fight against Ilia Topuria? How would you feel?
La verdad es que nunca lo he visto pelear bien, una pelea completa, pero para mí es un honor que obviamente agarren un poco de mi boxeo. También mis respetos para todos, para todo tipo de peleador, mis respetos para todos, y lo de la pelea, bueno, ya veremos después, ¿no? Ahora sí que primero lo primero. Le deseo lo mejor.
First of all, I've never seen him fight a full fight, like a complete fight, but I really love what, and I respect a lot, and I admire, and thank you. And I have a lot of gratitude for fighters that, take a little bit of my fighting and respect it. It's awesome to see other fighters like me. But let's see, as far as the fighting against him, first things first. Let's hear about this now.
Pimblett, meanwhile, has raised concerns that Topuria's absence could result in him being stripped of the title. "If he doesn't come back by June or July, he might have to vacate his belt, and I'll become undisputed champ without even fighting," Pimblett said.
No idea. He's got a lot going on in his personal life, lad, and I wish him nothing but the best with it. That's nothing to do with me and him fighting. That's his family, and I hope everything goes well. I hope that goes perfect for him. All I care about is getting him in that octagon and fighting him. Anything in his personal life, I hope it goes well. But you never know, if he doesn't come back by June, July, then he might have to vacate his belt and I'll become undisputed champ without even fighting.
I mean, he had Tom bloodied up, and Tom didn't want to continue in the fight.
Look, I might look like an idiot. Sometimes I might even talk like an idiot, but when it comes to fighting,
Tom Aspinall has just sent a bombshell message that could change the UFC heavyweight division forever. After months of tension, medical controversy, and public criticism, the relationship between the UFC heavyweight champion and Dana White has reached a breaking point. Is Tom Aspinall really done with the UFC? Is a move to the PFL actually happening? And what did Dana White say on Twitter that made everything worse? Let's get into it. UFC 321 in Abu Dhabi was supposed to be Tom Aspinall's crowning moment. His first defense of the undisputed heavyweight title against elite striker Cyril Gane. The fight had everything: explosive wrestling versus masterful kickboxing. Here's where things took a turn nobody expected. Social media erupted with criticism. Fans accused Aspinall of exaggerating the injury, of lacking warrior spirit. The attacks were brutal and personal, but the criticism wasn't just coming from random internet trolls. It was coming from the UFC president himself. During the post-fight press conference, Dana White said, and I quote, "Tom didn't want to continue in the fight. Not couldn't continue. Not was medically unable to continue. But didn't want to."
Want to see a main event end, any fight end? Give us your reaction to the eye poke and how it went out.
I mean, I feel the way everybody feels. Great showing, shitty ending, I think that after the Jones fight, a lot of people wrote Cyril Gane off. He looked damn good tonight.
Yeah, what did you think about the fight on its way to the eye poke? What did you take from those 4 minutes?
Good. Looked like we were in for a few rounds and it was going to be a good fight.
It would seem obvious that a rematch is right on the cards. Would you like to just rebook these guys as soon as Tom is able to get back in there?
Yeah, total pain in the ass, but yes.
Yeah. Have you got any medical update on Tom, or is it still too soon?
He's on his way to the hospital.
It's a bit of a weird question, right? It was ruled a no contest because of an unintentional eye poke. What does it take to make an eye poke intentional, and is there even a way you could ever prove that?
Who the fuck knows? Who gives a shit?
White also stated in interviews that, as far as we know, he doesn't have a detached retina. There's no damage to the eye, based on preliminary ringside assessments. These comments poured gasoline on an already raging fire. Fans began calling Aspinall a quitter, suggesting he used the foul as an excuse because Gane was gaining momentum.
Want to see a main event end, any fight end? Give us your reaction to the eye poke and how it went out.
I mean, I feel the way everybody feels. Great showing, shitty ending, you know? I think that after the Jones fight, a lot of people wrote Cyril gone off.
Tom Aspinall was being publicly questioned by his own boss while dealing with a serious injury, and nobody knew just how serious that injury actually was. In an interview, Aspinall explained, "I didn't continue because I'm not a dummy. I'm not going to fight one of the best strikers in the world if I can't see with double vision."
Well, listen, I didn't continue. I'll tell you why I didn't continue. Because I'm not a dummy. Like, I'm not going to go out there